Hey there folks. So in this video what we're going to do is we're going to use our knowledge of where the PaperZD content is, and we're going to use it to start creating our animation source, which basically works as our skeleton, and all of the animation sequences that our character is going to use. Now I'm going to keep this very simple. I'm going to use this warrior simple here, and as you can see, if I go into the flipbooks, he only has the 5 of them: the idle and run. He has a guard and then 2 variations of his attack. So I'm going to keep it simple with just those, but obviously the same process that I'm going to use here, you could use it to go on to any of your other ones. So for example, it might be, the advanced version that has up, down, left and right. It might be that you look at the other kind of variations you have. I've got the ghoul, I've got the widow. I'm going to go through each of those potentially in my own time and make those. So we've got the examples, but I'm just going to show you the warrior simple to get us started. Now in this warrior simple, I'm going to create a new folder, and I might just call it PaperZD for my PaperZD content to go into. And I'm going to start by going through and creating from the PaperZD section an animation source. Now this, let's go with ZD source. There's not really a defined naming convention out there for this. I like to go with ZD source just to make it consistent with what they are. And we'll go with this one being warrior. And we'll just stick with warrior because I'll put warrior advanced on the other guy, and we'll just leave it as that. Now when we open this up, we've got a couple of things just to be aware of. The left hand side, this asset browser, this is very similar to what you would see if you were looking at a 3D animation, where you would have an asset browser for a skeleton, and it will show you all of the animation sequences, all the animation files that are compatible and known about by this skeleton. The bottom left, we have a whole bunch of other options when it comes to the animation source, and we might look at those in the future. We've got some details options, so details panel in the bottom right, and the asset details, which is separated from our details. And we're going to come back to this because this asset details is where we're going to do a lot of our work in the future as well, as we start adding in our sequences. And this large middle area, this viewport, is where we get to see our sequences. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to go up to the top left here where it says add new. There's only one option, new animation sequence, and the first thing I like to do is I just like to rename this. So I like to go with AS underscore, which is the same as the 3D one, animation sequence. I like to go with AS underscore, still name it based on what it is, so it is my warrior, and we'll go with idle. Now can't see anything on there at the moment. It's still showing I've got something in the preview. It's updated the viewports, so now you can see I've got an element of notify. So this is very similar to what you might see if you were working with animation montages, but there's nothing actually showing there, and that's because even though I've created the new sequence, it hasn't got animation data assigned to it, and that animation data there is looking for a flipbook. So if I open this up, you can see all of the flipbooks, and this is very different from what we might have with our 3D, where with 3D we can only obviously assign animation sequences to a skeleton that match. With this, I could put any of these on there. So even though this hero guy is different to the warrior, I'm going to have problems if I start putting them on there. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm using those good naming conventions so I can keep this consistent. So I add this in, and if I zoom out, you can then see that there is my warrior idle. Now I could go into here with categories. I have used this before where maybe I have one animation blueprint that is used for one animation source, and I put all of my enemies in there, and I can do some categories to define whether they're the ghoul or the summoner or the skeletons or whatever it is. Or I might start categorizing these based on whether they are idle, movement, locomotion, attack. It depends on how many animations you have here and whether you need to start using those. We also have down here all this notify that's running through, and you can see because it's running this idle animation, it runs through as many frames as there are in that. So you can see there, as I scrub through, it's playing that animation. We also can come in here and start adding notifies, but we're going to look at that in a separate video. But this does give us a lot of power for what we can do with this animation here. So let's just get these all set up so that they're there and they're ready for us to use. And that's a very quick and easy process. So I like to go with AS underscore warrior. This might be where it's easier to maybe copy and paste and have that name as something that I can just copy in. Warrior, and I think it was guard. And then we've got AS underscore warrior attack 1 and AS warrior attack 2. Now, why have I added all these in rather than doing them individually and then adding the animation data? Well, the reason for that is because when you click on these things, so I'm going to click from attack 2 to attack 1. What you can see is there's nothing changed in the middle, and that's fine because neither of them have animation data. But actually just left clicking once on it doesn't change this from being focused on attack 2 to attack 1. It's still, as you can see down here, still running through attack 2, which means if I go into my asset details and change this to use attack 2, even though I've clicked and I click around, I'm not actually changing this. So I'm just warning you for that because that's a very common, easy thing to do. Think that you've changed to a different animation, go to change its details, but realize you haven't updated and you're still on the last one. So you have to double click on it. So I left double click on that, and now I can change this one to attack 1. This one obviously is already on idle. Let's change this one to be our guard animation, and this one here is going to be our walk, which obviously this one, just renamed it run. So with all those created, I'm just going to save all that for now. What you can see is I can go through each of these. I'll probably just press play down here, and you can see I've got my animation set up. And the last thing that I want to show is the fact that these animation sequences, as they're created, are created as an individual file in our content browser. So if I go back to this folder, this PaperZD folder, what you'll see is that not only do we have the source, but it's created an anim sequences folder next to it. So wherever the source is, it creates the anim sequences folder, and each of those that we've just created is existing in here for us to go and edit. Now I'm just fixing that capital letter there, just like to have that consistent. Now if I open up one of these and double click on it, you'll see what it actually does is just opens up the ZD source and takes me to that animation sequence. Now there is one other way of creating these animation sequences, which is you go into PaperZD, you create an anim sequence. When you do, it's very much like working with 3D stuff. It'll say what skeleton should I use. So I can say ZD source in here, give it a name, and this one's not actually going to be one I'm going to use, but I'll just put, for example, dead. I could do with a dead animation, but I don't have one on this sprite. But if I open that up, you can see it's created it and added it in. So that is a way of doing it, and you can work that way by creating it here and adding it in. I prefer to go into the ZD source, manually create them here and see them in the asset browser and just know that it is creating them for me, but it's to each their own. It's whatever process works for you. The key thing here is that you create the anim source, you go through, and for each of those flipbooks, each of those animations that you've got, you create yourself an anim sequence, make sure they're named correctly, and then go through each one of them and just make sure that they are playing and running the correct animation. So we can jump through each one of these here, and you can see that they're all now ready for us to use. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to access more of my Unreal Engine content.